Sarcosaurus was a meat-eating dinosaur. He was about the same size as a small car. We know about Sarcosaurus because somebody found his fossilised bones in Leicestershire. Hypsilophodon is the littlest dinosaur in this story. He was about the same size as a 5-year-old. He ate small plants and grass. His fossilised bones were found on the Isle of Wight. Cetiosauruscus was much bigger than the other dinosaurs so far. She was as long as the street where I live. Luckily, she only ate the leaves from trees. Fossils of some Cetiosauruscus bones were found in Oxfordshire. Megalosaurus was one of the first ever dinosaurs discovered by people, and one of the most terrifying. He was about the same size as a double-decker bus, and he ate any dinosaur he could catch. Most of them didn't stand a chance against his big claws and sharp teeth. The fossil of a Megalosaurus's leg bone was found a long time ago in Oxfordshire, and because people then didn't know about dinosaurs, they thought that it probably came from a giant man. Eustreplospondylis looked very similar to Megalosaurus, but it could swim in the water and ate mostly fish. Its fossils were found in Oxfordshire too. Millions of years ago, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, the world was a very different place. The country we now call England was covered in a great forest that stretched from coast to coast. Now before I go on, there's something that you should know about dinosaurs, and that is that they love to be in the sun almost as much as people do. The problem for the dinosaurs of England was that they were always in the shade of the trees. Luckily, in the middle of the forest there was a great clearing, and it was here that they would all come and soak up the warm rays of the sun while the cool breeze chattered softly through the ferns. There was the big friendly Cetiosauruscus, who would come in the afternoon and relax after eating leaves all day among the trees. Then there was the Sarcosaurus. Even though he was a meat-eating dinosaur, no one was scared because they had all agreed that in the clearing there should be no hunting and no fighting. This way, all the dinosaurs were able to enjoy sunbathing without being scared of being eaten. Even little Hypsilophodon felt safe to play in the soft grass. All was well until one day, when the dinosaurs were stretched out having an afternoon nap. They were woken by the sound of trees being trampled. Everyone looked round to see if it was Cetiosauruscus, for she was the only one big enough to make such a noise. But there she was, drinking from the stream. Just then, the massive Megalosaurus burst into the clearing. No one had ever seen such a fearsome dinosaur. Everyone turned and ran for their lives. But Megalosaurus was an expert hunter. He bent down and snapped up a dinosaur, swallowing it down in one go before charging off back into the forest. The next day, the very same thing happened. The dinosaurs tried to explain the rules to him, but he just laughed and chased them until he had snapped someone up and chomped them down with his great big teeth. "We'll never be able to play here again," cried Hypsilophodon. "Unless we want to play hide and seek every day," joked Sarcosaurus. "We can't let him use our clearing as a big dinner plate. Why should he ruin our peace?" asked Cetiosauruscus. And so it was that the dinosaurs made a plan, and dinosaurs can make nearly as clever plans as people do. And this is what they did. They all went through the forest to find Megalosaurus, and when they found him, Sarcosaurus spoke in his best voice. "Mr. Megalosaurus, Your Excellency, we are proud to have such a brave and valiant beast to rule over us. But we do not think it is fitting for a king such as yourself to hunt for his own food. From now on, you should remain quietly here in the forest, and we will bring you such food as is fitting for a king to eat." Now Megalosaurus thought it very nice to be called a king, and so he agreed. And so it was that a while later, around tea time, little Hypsiliophodon made his way back to Megalosaurus's lair. Now, he must have been much braver than I am, for here he is in the scariest part of the story. But don't worry and keep listening, for this is all part of the plan. And as you've seen for yourselves, dinosaurs are very good at making plans. When Hypsiliophodon got to the lair, Megalosaurus was just about to eat him up when the little dinosaur said, "Before you eat me, O tallest of kings, then know this. Because I'm small, another little dinosaur was sent with me so that you could have a little something for pudding. But on the way here, a Eustreplospondylus jumped from his home in the river and ate the pudding right up. I told him that it was your Majesty's pudding, but he said that he was the real king of these parts and that no one could defeat him." When Megalosaurus heard this, he was most angry. He roared and demanded to be taken to the cheeky Eustreplospondylus who thought he was king. Once they had reached the high bank of the river, the little dinosaur pointed down to the water and said, "He's down there, your Majesty." Megalosaurus went to the edge and looked over. Now there's something you should know before I say another word, and that is that Eustreplospondylus looks almost exactly the same as Megalosaurus. So it was that when Megalosaurus saw his own reflection in the water, he thought it was that cheeky Eustreplospondylus who thought he was king. Megalosaurus roared his terrible roar and he jumped in the water to get him. And there is one final thing you should know about these dinosaurs before we finish our story. And that is that Megalosauruses can't swim, although his cousin Eustreplospondylus can. So Megalosaurus was carried away down the river, roaring and roaring his terrible roar, until he was swept out to sea and never seen again. After that, the dinosaurs could again relax and play in the soft grass of their clearing, while the sun beamed down and the cool breeze chattered softly through the ferns.